Are any of the fights on May 2nd actually going down? A lot of us are still skeptical. A lot of people don't want to book flights. People not buying, their airplane tickets or, booking hotels because they're not sure this fight's actually going to go down between Rolly, Ryan, and then Devin Haney versus Jose Ramirez and obviously Teofimo Lopez and Arnold Barboza. All big fights, all, main event fights, but stacked on a singular card in the middle of Times Square. A lot of people are questioning whether or not it's actually going down. And to tell you guys the honest truth, I really don't know, because it's looking like the weather is going to be relatively cold. I feel like we got a lot of incoming excuses. If the fights do go down, there are going to be a lot of excuses about the fight being in the middle of Times Square. They're not used to fighting outside. Somebody had a cold. Somebody wasn't acclimated to the outdoor weather. There are going to be a lot of excuses, trust me, heading into and after these fights, because obviously these guys haven't really fought in New York, at least outside. They've all been in the arenas indoors, but it's just going to be a different atmosphere. I'm very curious to see if they can really pull it off, because Turki Al-Sheikh, I understand he has all the money in the world, but when you have the security risk of having an event in Times Square, it just makes me think, I'm from this area, I'm in the East Coast, I'm in Jersey, like 20 minutes from the city. I go there all the time. I kind of grew up here. It's interesting to hear that this is taking place in all the times and all the fights that I've been covering boxing. I feel like I've never seen anything like this, and it'll be interesting to see if Turki can pull off, but I really hope it somehow goes through, because these are all big fights. This is a big event. We got obviously this weekend that's built up of such great events. We got Haney fighting, we got Canelo fighting, obviously Ryan Garcia, Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney. Like, these are all huge names, all fighting on the same weekend. So if it does go through, this could be the biggest weekend of boxing that we've ever seen in terms of main events and fights that should be main events as an undercard. And just the card in general for Rolly versus Ryan is just crazy. Hopefully it does go down, but some people are skeptical about whether the fights are even going to happen, and understandably so, because we've never seen anything like this. We didn't know that it was even possible to shut down Times Square to make fights happen, but you see Turki Al-Sheikh doing just that. And hopefully it does go down. The media, a lot of people are also still not sure. A lot of journalists are still not sure. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully the fights do go down, because they're all very consequential fights. You got a guy like Arnold Barboza fighting Teofimo Lopez, where Barboza does have the momentum. Teofimo, there's no secret that he hasn't been the most consistent fighter in the world, but we know when he's locked in and he's on his A game that he's a very difficult fighter to beat. This is Barboza's toughest test. I'm not sure if it's Teofimo's toughest test, but we'll see in that ring on May 2nd. And Barboza's been on a hot streak. He has all the momentum. And you have a guy like Teo who's, fights to the level of his opposition. If it's a big name, he's extra motivated. He proves everybody wrong. You look at Josh Taylor, you look at Vasily Lomachenko. He was able to rise to the occasion for those fights when people counted him out, even Richard Comey. But then you had other guys like Jermaine Ortiz, Sandor Martin, where he hasn't looked as good, because people also get more motivated, but they also lose motivation when it's not a big name. And I think Teofimo is one of those people, but I feel like his hatred towards Arnold Barboza has grown during the promotion, and that should translate into the fight. Hopefully, Teofimo doesn't allow his ill feelings towards Arnold Barboza to impact his fighting style and his ability to keep his composure, because if that takes place, I don't think that Teofimo is going to beat him. But if Teo's on his A game, he's focused on just getting the job done, I think I'd favor Teofimo Lopez in this fight. But you got Devin Haney as well. I think we all expect Devin to go and do his thing. Not a lot of people are actually picking Jose Ramirez. That's a big reason why he's a major underdog at the sports, betting sites, and the lines are just, showing him as the heavy underdog, because Devin obviously needs this win. I think he's as motivated as ever, because this is the longest layoff he's ever had, and we'll see if there's ring rust. But if there isn't and Devin's sharp, he's back on his A game, then he should have no problem with beating Jose Ramirez with ease. So we'll see what happens with that. But obviously Rolly and Ryan, I think Rolly has a decent chance, but I gotta go with Ryan. I think Rolly's probably gonna run into something crazy and get stopped. So we'll see what happens, but let me know down below. Hopefully the fights do go down, but let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Catch you guys in the next Nabs Boxing video. Peace.